welcome, welcome. I'm going to tilt down a little bit more. Let me move back a little bit more. Let's see. Perfect. Hey folks, good morning. We're going to do a little mobility break this morning. Get our day started. Settling into wherever you feel comfortable in a seat. Today's practice is all seated. So if you're joining live and you're watching the replay, thinking today about how we can incorporate in some small practices into our day, into our morning, that still feel sustaining, have a lot of potential for impact. So finding your seat, letting your shoulders roll back. We're going to start down in the feet and tap all the toes against the floor. With or without some help. And as the toes tap, just try to notice what sensations come up. Warming up with the feet. You can go at whatever pace of tapping the toes feels good for you. Letting the jaw relax, shoulders relax, balls of the feet stay on the floor, and eventually we're going to switch to tapping just the big toes against the floor. And noticing what happens there. As you try to tap the big toes, do you start to strain? Do you start to furrow your brow, tense your jaw? If you need to, you can always look at your feet, check it, see how the toes are moving. And then we're going to switch from the big toes down and tap all the other toes. And still just breathing, staying curious about the movements, and moving without creating any strain, no force. Starting with our feet for mobility, because that's kind of the building blocks upon which all of our other mobility responds. How we walk and stand affects our balance, affects how we hold the hips, how the knees feel, the pelvis, the jaw. So right now we have our big toes down, we're tapping all the other toes against the floor. And then eventually we're going to shake it out, take a break for a moment. And then we're going to come back to the toes, and now we're going to try to keep our big toes and our pinky toes down on the floor and see if we can wiggle the three toes in the middle. So big toes and pinky toes are down, and seeing can you lift the three toes in the middle. Maybe you're noticing differences from one side or the other. It's really normal. Don't have to panic if it's hard to move the toes like this. It takes time, it takes practice. Trying to see if you can do this without clenching the jaw, without straining in the face. And then eventually we're going to, again, take a shake break, shake out the feet. Then we're going to check in 1 foot at a time. I'm going to turn this foot out to the side, and we're trying to lift the arch of the foot. So it's a central part of the foot is lifting off the ground. Not just the inner arch, but all the way through to the outside edge of the foot. 1 foot at a time, jaw relaxed. It's a great stretch for your plantar fascia. Big band of connective tissue along the foot. Lifting and lowering the arch of the foot. The toes aren't clenching, they're just kind of along for the ride. Still breathing. And we're eventually going to switch over to the other side. And do the same thing. Toes soft on the ground. It's almost like you're trying to lift the center of the foot up towards the sky. Slide the ball of the foot back towards the heel. All while breathing, keeping the face relaxed. Keeping the breath relaxed. We move through the feet, waking them up for this week, for this morning. The foundation of the body needs to be activated. Let's do 2 or 3 more on this foot, lifting the center of the arch. And we're going to check in with our ankles. Stretching the feet out in front of us. You're going to point and flex the feet. And when you point and flex, it's an opportunity to start pumping around the fluids in the lower legs. Didn't get a chance to go for a walk this morning. This is a great way to get the fluids circling. Heels stay on the floor. Maybe you're even noticing that as you point and flex, when you point the feet, you stretch the front of the legs. When you flex the feet, you feel stretch in the back of the legs. So little foot mobility really can go through the whole lower body and create impact. We're going to keep the heels on the floor and circle the ankles. Jaw relaxed. Breath smooth. Maybe noticing some snap, crackle, pop. That's okay, that happens. And when you're ready, reverse your circles. Trying to see how fluid you can make these morning circles in the ankles. Just like your breath is staying fluid for the morning. And then eventually we're going to point the soles of the feet in and out towards each other. In and out, like that. Heels stay on the floor. This is a subtle movement. You can imagine that this is what the mobility you need in your legs when you're walking over uneven ground. It's how we build up stronger ankles so we don't roll our ankles. And do 2 more in and out. We're going to finish up by planting the feet and lifting the heels off the ground. One last little pump for the low body as we wrap up this 10 minutes of mobility practice. That goes so fast. So it does not need to be an hour of yoga every day, every time you practice. 10 minutes can be really impactful, really beneficial. when we have that all or nothing thinking that, oh, it's really only a good practice if I'm doing it for 60 minutes, if I'm getting all these wild poses into my practice. There is no good or bad practice, except for maybe a bad practice is one where you don't feel safe, or where you don't feel like you can honor your body. A 10-minute practice like this is a wonderful practice. All right, folks, we're going to take a big stretch to close up and let it go. Thanks so much for watching, joining in live, watching the replay. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Bye, folks.